Hi and hello. Hello and welcome to this live stream today. Hello, Carol. Hello, Bruno. Nice to see you. Yes, it's happening. I just had to click on the live button. It's 7 p.m. Central European time at the moment. Nice that you are here. Welcome, Bruno. Yes, hello. If you have any questions, I invite you to write them in the comments. I am here today and would like to show you how you can draw the outlines of eyes, how you can sketch your how you can sketch your eyes. Bruno is writing, we hear you. That's great. If something with the tech is not working, the sound or the picture, also, I love it if you give me feedback in the comments. That is great. I see you're watching on YouTube. We are also live on my Facebook page. Yes, so I will draw eyes with you together, not the whole eyes, but I want to show you how to draw the outlines, how to sketch the eyes. So just have to remove that comment. Okay, so I hope you see the screen here. Yes, it is working. So this is my drawing desk. I have shared it with you. We will draw the outline of a horse eye and also sketch the outline of a dog's eye and a cat eye. These are drawing lessons. For example, this horse eye I have planned to draw in my upcoming Animal Art Week. It's a 5-day drawing workshop where we will draw this beautiful horse eye and also this beautiful cat face together. I invite you to join. I'm very excited for this event. It's always so fun to draw with other like-minded people together in a community with amazing artists, all draw the same subjects. If you think that this is too difficult for you, for example, to draw such a cat face, it is also for beginners. So no worries. I also provide you line art drawings like a sketch like this and the reference photo. And I explain you also how to draw and prepare your outline so that you don't have to draw it then freehand, of course. You find the link in the description. And now let's start to draw some outlines here. If you have questions, you can pop them in the comments. I'm happy to answer. So what I like to do to practice drawing the outlines freehand when we have such smaller eye studies. I love to draw eyes. It is so fascinating to draw eyes. And I always start in my animal portraits with eyes because I love to bring life into the portraits. So I've thought some eye topics here and doing some live streams on YouTube and on Facebook would be interesting, and to show you how you can practice and train your eyes and draw some outlines a bit freehand. So let's start with a horse eye here. So I just take now my drawing as a reference. You could also take, for example, a reference photo, of course, to have a look at and to compare. But let's start and sketch the outline here for this horse eye. You can draw along if you would like, or just watch, or just, yes, also ask if you have questions. I'm happy to give you some tips and tricks. So here I take a sharp pastel pencil. I always draw the outlines with pastel pencils, not with a graphite pencil or something like that, or a colored pencil, because you must to be able to draw over the outlines with your pastel pencils when you're working with pastels. And yes, let's start. And I always measure the distances here, so approximately with the eyes. What also is helpful is you could, when you do it freehand, draw maybe a cross in the middle and remove that then with such a kneaded eraser afterwards with these kneadable eraser. But when you draw such lines and crosses, do this with very little pressure, or you just estimate the distances. And so you can remove these lines then with this kneaded eraser. You could also, as helping tool, for example, use a ruler and measure the distances if you are really just starting out and you want to make sure that the distances and the length and the proportions have the correct size. Or we just train our eyes and do it freehand. So take your pastel paper and your pastel pencil and let's start. I like to use colors that I have in the subject for the outline. So let's take here a black and just let's start. So what I'm doing first is always sketching in the shadow here around the eye, the shadow, the outline of the eyeball and inside of the eyelids. So I start with sketching that in with very little pressure, with a very light hand. And let's say these are so approximately here 2 centimeters that we measure here that a bit. So with the eyes, and estimate the distance. And then let's start with the outline here with the darker black part. And always work with a very light hand when you are drawing your outline, when you're drawing your sketch. And then I also go here in and have a look how broad is that shadow and sketch in another line. So, or what you also could do is just swipe along this shadow part and bring in a bit of the black pastel pigment right away. Where it is darker, add a bit more pastel pigment on that area. And then let's also sketch in here this inner eye corner. Estimate here the distance again and have a look. It is going so a bit downwards. This outline makes a bow. Also have a good look at your reference photo or your reference picture here. Here it is not a straight line downwards. It makes a bit of a bow. So let's draw that in a bow. And this lower line here also makes a bit of a curve. Let's also sketch in here a bit of a curve. Always just have a look, what shapes do you see in the reference picture, and then sketch them in. Here we see a part of the horse pupil. There are also a lot of reflections in the eye. But let's have a look. We have here eyelashes. I like to use different colors when I'm sketching in my drawings. So then I also use white, for example, or use some gray or just a lighter color and sketch in a bit of these eyelashes or some lighter parts like the highlights, so that you always bring in these light reflections you see in the eyes first, that they also are in place then. And then when you have drawn, have a look, here are the lashes, the eyelashes, that you draw them here so downwards, sketch them in. All the details would come then afterwards. And then I take the black again and let's sketch in also the pupil here, what you see. I take that drawing for the reference. If you see something else on your reference photo you're working on, or always really have a good look at the photo you're using or the reference, and then draw the shapes you see into your on your drawing surface. And here above we have this blue sky. Also sketch that in a bit with the black here. You could also already take the blue a bit and bring in some blue in, for example. I love also to use a third color like a brown. I use here the burnt sienna a bit and sketch in a bit where the brown colors should be in the eyeball here, or sketching in some fine little details. So all important parts that you need then later for your animal portrait to build up the layers, sketch that all in. So I start in the inner part of the eye. You could also already with the black bring in here some shadows between the eyelashes, just to have a better overview then later. And then the next part would be these eyelids around, so that you have a look again here above. There we have such a slanted line. Have a good look in what direction does that shadow line here go. And then hold your pencil with little force and move it so upwards and downwards or forwards and backwards, and sketch that line in. And then on that right part, here it makes a bow. So we have here also such a deep dark shadow part behind the eyelid, and this makes a bow. So have a good look to the reference picture and see in what directions are your darkest areas going, and draw them in. This is the black part here. And the same, do the same below. Measure the distances here everywhere with the eyes, and then try to bring in here a black line below. And then here on the right, they are coming together. And draw a bit of a bow, so downwards. And then we have here shadow on the left, so that we bring in here a line, so from the upper left part downwards, and add shadow. It should be more a broader shadow area than a line here, but we can sketch that in as a stroke, and then afterwards, of course, you have to blend that then with the paper stamp and start building up the layers. And what I also then do in the sketch is sketching in fur direction, that you have a look around the eye. In what direction does the fur go below? And bring in some fine lines in that fur direction, that you know these lines are going downwards. Here above on the right side, they are making a bow a bit upwards, following the direction of the fur growth. And then here below, they are making a bow downwards. So sketch it in a bit, then you have it easier when you then build up the layers and draw your portrait then. Just sketch in here the lines in fur direction. Here they are going a bit towards the left. Okay, and then I would start with the black and plotting in more black when it comes to build up the layers of your portrait. Let's also do that for a cat eye. Horse eyes are sometimes a bit different to draw. They have an oblong pupil and a lot of reflections in the eyes. You often see the meadow, mountain, sky, and so on in the eyes. In cat eyes, you most times see really a nice pupil, some light reflections, and a lot of the colors you have in the eyes. They are a bit more, they are not so large like horse eyes, and also not so round. they are a bit more flat, and then you don't have so much surroundings reflecting in the eyes. You see more the colors of the beautiful cat eyes. Okay, I see people are watching here on YouTube, 11 here on YouTube, and also some people are following on Facebook. That's great. You can also write in the comments below questions you have. I'm happy to answer, or yes, just put questions in or write me from where are you watching. I'm always curious who is here live. Okay, how do you sharpen them? Bruno has asked, how do you sharpen the pastel pencils? Small metal sharpeners work good. Knives works better, and sandpaper to get a sharp point has after 40 art written. Yes, so that's a great tip. I also suggest, so what I do, I use either a craft knife, so such a craft knife, and remove the wood when the pencil is not sharp anymore, or I use these double metallic sharpeners that I have used today, but they only create such nice points when they are new. When the blades are blunt, then I most times use a craft knife and sharpen them, remove the wood, and then I use these sharpeners and just sharpen the front part of the lid. That's nice, and you have then a sharper point again. Sandpaper is also possible, of course. Okay. Good morning, Ron and Lise, also here. Why are you holding pencils so far from the tip? That I do, to hold the pencil with little pressure in my hand. When I sketch in, I try to use very little pressure, and then I hold it more backwards, because then I have it so loose in my hand and don't press so much. When I hold the pencil here in front, I tend more to use more pressure and hold it, and I have then to move the hand a bit more, and so I can move the pencil so from the fingers out. Do you know what I mean? So this is helpful for me for the sketch, that I can move the pencil better in this way. When I do it here, it's possible a bit, but I have more flexibility when I hold it more backwards. When I draw then fine lines for the layers here, for example, on that, I then hold it more so in front and add here, so fine strokes. Okay. Hello, Sabine. I'm from Norway. Love your drawings, and I wonder how long have you been drawing to get that good? Is here's the writing. So I draw for 15, 17 years now. So I have to think back. I think these are now over 15 years, around 17, I think. And it is all about practicing, I think. So in my opinion, everybody can draw like this. It's, of course, you will not start immediately with all these details, but you can create amazing things. I also would like to show you that in my upcoming drawing workshop, that everybody can draw, and I will show you that step by step, so that you really can do that and are able to do that if you want that. So I really have the opinion that everybody who wants to can draw that, and of course it needs time, and it needs to practice and train and trying things out, but yes. If you join an email art club, you really learn fast. Thank you. That's great. So thank you for sharing. Okay, then let's do the next eye here. Let's do this cat eye here. I also start here again with black. For the blackest parts, I like to always start with the dark, deep shadows around the eye. And let's again estimate, for example, how broad is that eye. When I measure the distances here, these are so 3 centimeters, and the length should be 5 centimeters when I have here a look on my original. So I do that in that way, that I measure it with the eyes. You could also take a ruler and check. Oh, that is not really not bad how I have measured that. 3, 2, okay, these are 4.5, not 5. So I did not measure it before. So these were really just estimating the distances. So with these centimeter length. Okay, then let's draw that in. I start here at the lower part, at the lower eyelid, and then draw this line. I have a look. This is going a bit upwards, and then it makes a bow and goes so upwards, rightwards. And I really try to draw with very little pressure, use a very light hand, that I also am able then to remove wrong lines again. So then let's say I then measure the distance here, so downwards approximately 3 centimeters, and then draw the line here below the lower eyelid shadow. It is going here then upwards here together. And then let's have a look here in the inner eyelid. The line is so a little bit round, not just straight downwards. Make it a bit a bow to the left, and then let them come here together. We have then here this inner eyelid. There is such a part of, most times it's a bit so fleshy skin between, and then draw a triangle. And then a line downwards where we have fur in the inner eye corner. Most times also the shadow goes then when you draw cat eyes. So when you then draw, here you have the upper eyelid, and then the line goes a little bit more over the edges into the face, and there is also shadow then a bit. So here in this case towards the right. And then let's also have a look. We have the pupils. Cats often have, when the photo was taken in light, then a smaller, more narrow pupil. It can also happen that the pupil is very round when the photo was taken inside in the dark. But here we have nice light reflections and the pupil. So let's then also sketch in the pupil. Make it here, they are, so that 2 lines meet above and below to a very sharp point here. And in the middle, they are a bit broad. I try to sketch in that shape. And what I then do is always also to mark where the highlights are, sketch them in right away. Have a look where are the lightest parts, and sketch them in with white or with gray, and mark them in already so that you don't miss them then later. Bring highlights always in your first outline. When you're drawing the outlines, when you are drawing the sketch, also bring the highlights in right away. The same would then be also, so here below, there is a little bit of a highlight line where the light reflections are on it. You can sketch that also in a bit right away, then you have a better overview. Or you do them then later. That's now also a thing that everybody can do differently. Then we have a bit of a dark below that eyelid. So here is also a darker shadow line. Always have a look here. This eyelid is a bit broader. In the middle is this light reflection area, and then we have a bit of skin. So sketch in here a bit of dark. And What I also see, I have seen here on the reference photo reflections of the eyelashes, So also sketch them in that you don't forget them. Very, very little. We would plot in a bit pastel pigment then in that area, but I also like to sketch in some parts that I remember then, that I draw them, that I don't forget them. Okay, and then again, when you draw the fur around, sketch in the fur direction. Have a good look in what direction does the fur go, and then draw them, for example, here below, so rightwards. Always have a good look at your reference picture, reference photo, in that case, my drawing, and have a look in what direction the fur goes, and then sketch it in. For example, here above, this cat has some black fur stripes. Then I also sketch the black fur parts in. And also then the lighter fur parts that I take, for example, ivory. This is also a creamy color, and sketch in fur direction the lighter fur areas, or here. I do it in strokes right away. You could also sketch in, for example, just the outline, so that you say you just draw here the outline. I always do that in so strokes and lines right away. Then it looks already a bit like fur. And in fur direction, you could also sketch in here some eyebrow hairs that are longer. Sketch them in here above right away. Yes, and that would be then the sketch. Maybe I add here below some black lines where the next fur area is, and also here some black lines a bit upwards. Yes, and that's it for the sketch. For the cat eye, there we have another question. If I use helping lines or a grid, it is even more of a proportion. I would like to find a way that works for me. Yes, so you can use different methods you prefer. I personally like also to use with some helping lines. But what's also cool is just to take a reference photo and put a bit of soft pastel pigment on the back. For example, I use here the Rembrandt Soft Pastel 6 and put that on the back. And then when you then place that very carefully on your drawing and take a graphite pencil and draw along the most important outlines, that's also possible to trace your outlines then, or use a tracing paper, or just make lines on the most important parts, so around the eye, for example, or make a cross in the middle, that you have a better orientation then. That's also another method. There are different methods you can use. Today I just want to do it freehand because it's fun and it trains your eyes. But for larger portraits, like for example for the cat face we will draw in the 5 days drawing workshop, there I use then also helping lines or this method with the pastel pigment on the back side. Or for example, when I have drawn this cow here, I have used also this method with the pastel pigment on the back side. That's a nice method to do. Okay, then let's also finally do also the dog eye. Dog eyes most times have so a bit, they are not so round like horse eyes, so have a different shape. They have, most of the times you see a pupil and some light reflection. very often I see in reference pictures that they are fleshed, that the dog's eye have such a white, large circle over the highlight, so you don't see highlights, you don't see the iris really very well. Then it's always good when you just add more color on the pupil and try to draw a bit of a sky above and some lighter highlights below, for example, and remove too many white. In that eye here, this is more a reflection of a sky. So this I would draw with. So let's start again here for this dog eye with the upper eyelid section. And I again have a look in what direction does this line go here. Does it make a curve? Does it go straight? Here above it makes a curve. And here on the right it goes more so straight downwards. So don't make it really so round, this eye. Here the line is more straight downwards, and above it is going here. This upper outline is a bit rounder. So let's start here above with a rounder line. And then I would say I measure the distances before with the eye. So let's say this could be until this edge, inner eye corner edge here. So about, I would say, 4.5 centimeters. So let's draw it until here. And then draw the line here, so slanted downwards. I think this is two in this case. This is a bit too much downwards. So you can always take this kneaded eraser and do it again when you have worked with a light hand. Don't press too much, that you can correct it a bit. I draw it a little bit more rightwards here. And then let's say draw the lower eyelid, also a bit round in a bow. And here we have a bit, this eye corner here is so like a triangle, a sharp, the lines are going together to a sharp point here. And then make here the left part a bit rounder. And follow here downwards and let the outlines go together to the inner eye corner here. Then let's have a look. The eyeball itself is more like a real ball, so round like a ball. Let's start here and make it really round, that you create here the eyeball, that you draw the shape. It is round, it's not too long. So make it here really like a circle. And then let's add here a bit broader, darker shadow. And also here in the inner eye corner, add a bit black, and then I would just sketch in a bit where these highlight sections are. And I would fill up this inner eye corner then later. Here it's a bit so slanted upwards. And then here it makes a bow. And we also have here this eyebrow section here above. And draw a larger, long, a bit broader black part here above. And then I would also draw this round pupil in. So let's estimate here. It's about 1 centimeter in my case. Draw here a round ball, a round circle. Yes, and then also draw with white the highlight section in, so that you have a look here approximately are these clouds, this larger white light reflection here. Draw that here in, maybe also add some little dots here and there for highlights. or mark this here with a lighter pencil. I would also here make a bit of a line where these light blue transparent light reflections are overlapping the pupil. Yes, and finally I would maybe take a dark brown and sketch in the fur a bit, or do it right away with the black, or add dark brown and have a look where is fur, in what direction is the fur going. Also think about, are these lines very short, are they longer, and you can already bring all these details in. Then it is easier than afterwards to build up the layers when you have all the details in your sketch. Here they are making a bit of a bow. Okay, and also here we see shadow of the eyelashes. You could also sketch them in because it's very easy that you forget them afterwards. Just sketch some line in so that you have then a bit in place and know that you have to draw these then afterwards. Okay, so we have sketched in here 3 eyes now today, and trained a bit to draw the sketch freehand. I think it is fun just to sketch in something from time to time and train the eyes. Here I have a question from also Kirsty. What brand of pastel pencil do you use now? What brand is your favorite? Okay, so these pencils I'm using here are the Pitt pastel pencils from Faber-Castell. And these also are my favorites. I use them a lot in my commissions, in my own portraits, and also in my drawing lessons. I recommend to use the Pitt pastel pencils right away from the start. The reason for that is why I really like them and also recommend them. They are a bit harder. They have a harder lid than other brands of pastel pencils. There are also the Caputellos available, for example. These are a bit softer pastel pencils, Stabilo Carputellos. They are also great. They have a high color aberration and nice colors, but they are a bit softer, and then the paper starts to smear quickly. And for fine lines and details, for drawing fine fur, I can highly recommend to use Pitt pastel pencils and pastel matte paper from Clairefontaine. Could you practice with carbon pencils? You can practice drawing with all pencils, or with carbon pencils or graphite pencils. You can also practice to sketch or to train your eyes or to draw proportions. But when you would like to draw with pastels, it's important that the outline is not with carbon or graphite, because you have to draw over it. So I would then also always use some powdery pencils like pastel pencils or charcoal pencils for drawing the sketch. Okay, are there any other questions? I would like to wrap up this live demo of drawing the outlines otherwise, but I am here and happy to answer your questions. I will also again invite you to join my upcoming Animal Art Week, where we will draw this beautiful cat face. We will also draw this horse eye in Animal Art Week, and as a bonus you get there a beautiful ladybug to draw. So we will practice to build up the layers of an eye. We will draw different fur structures, short fur, long fur, clumps, whiskers, all kinds of lengths of hair, cat eyes, a cat nose. So this will be really fun. We will draw on the first day a horse eye, and on the other 4 days then the cat face. And I get a lot of questions if a beginner can join, and yes, also beginners can join. I will walk you through step by step through the drawing lesson. You can find the link for joining Animal Art Week, the 5 days drawing workshop, in the description. What very instructive, look, okay, what very instructive Looking forward for the Animal Art Week. Yay, you are in. That's amazing, Bruno. I'm looking forward to see you there then too. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm also very excited to this Animal Art Week and draw with you together. And I'm also again here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central European Time with another topic. I will show you tomorrow a bit how to draw short fur. So if you're interested in drawing fur, I will go live here tomorrow again and draw a bit of fur with you. Okay, thank you, and I see you soon, either here on my YouTube channel or on the Facebook page. I'm happy if you follow me, and I would love to see you in Animal Art Week then, May 13th to 17th. See you soon, or see you tomorrow here. Thank you. Have a great time. Bye bye. Thank you.